Under the bright rodeo lights, everything feels louder. Every fear, every hope. And in Heartland Season 19, Episode 6, those lights expose more than the riders expected. A sudden clash in the arena, a risky decision behind the gates, and a family pushed closer to the edge. This episode doesn't just show the rodeo. It tests everyone who steps into its glow. The episode opens with the energy of the rodeo already buzzing in the air. You can almost feel the dust lifting from the ground as trucks roll in. Horses whinny and crowds gather in long lines outside the arena. The camera moves slowly across the grounds, showing us competitors warming up, checking saddles, and stretching out nerves that could snap at any second. Even from the start, there is a sense that tonight is different, bigger, louder, and more unpredictable. Amy steps into the frame with a quiet focus in her eyes. She's not here to compete, but her presence is just as important. She's been asked to look at a troubled barrel horse that refuses to settle. Its rider is desperate, and Amy knows that any mistake in this environment could become a disaster under the lights. But before she even touches the horse, she senses something heavier in the atmosphere tension, not just from the horses, but from the people around her. Meanwhile, the episode reminds us where things left off last week. Tim's push to turn this event into one of the biggest rodeos in the region has put pressure on everyone, including himself. He moves around the grounds with a clipboard in hand, barking orders and trying to keep everything running on time. But the cracks are already showing. A team of riders arrived late. A gate jammed earlier in the day. And there are whispers about safety concerns that Tim may have ignored in the rush to make this night perfect. As the sun drops and the arena lights flicker on, the scene shifts. The grandstands fill with cheering fans, families waving signs, and kids with glowing bracelets. The rodeo announcer tests his microphone, sending echoes across the stadium. The world seems ready for a show, but behind the scenes, storm is building. Amy meets up with Jack for a moment of calm before the chaos. Jack, as always, sees what others miss. He can tell Amy is carrying more worry than she admits, and he gently reminds her that not every horse can be fixed in one night, and not every problem needs to be solved alone. It's a small moment, but it's one that helps ground Amy before she dives into the heart of the episode's biggest challenge. And just when things feel stable for a brief moment, a loud crash rings from behind the gates. A horse rears up, a rider shouts, and the camera cuts to Tim rushing toward the commotion. Whatever is happening is about to pull everyone into the kind of chaos that only happens under the bright, unforgiving rodeo lights. The chaos behind the gates settles, just enough for Amy to step closer to the troubled horse she was called to help. But this isn't just any nervous rodeo. Horset's eyes dart in every direction. Muscles tight, breath sharp and uneven. Even without touching it, Amy can feel the panic pouring off the animal like heat from a fire. The noise of the crowd, the loudspeaker tests, the gate slamming shut. It's all feeding into the horse's fear. And Amy knows one wrong move tonight could end badly for both the horse and the rider. The rider, a young woman named Riley, stands beside the horse with shaking hands. She tries to hide it, but her fear is almost as strong as the horse's. She tells Amy she has worked her whole life for a night like this, but has never seen her horse behave this wildly. Amy listens closely, watching the pair, noticing how Riley keeps glancing at the stands as if she's searching for someone or hiding from something. Amy gently moves forward, speaking softly, her tone steady, despite the noise around them. She places her hand on the horse's neck, feeling the tension beneath its skin. She realizes quickly that this isn't just nerves. Something is wrong. The horse keeps pulling away from the lights, as if the brightness itself is triggering a memory or fear Amy hasn't discovered yet as she tries to understand what's going on. Tim storms past in a rush, shouting instructions at someone off-screen. The pressure of the night is getting to him, and Amy can tell he's too wound up to notice the small dangers growing around him. This isn't the moment to stop him. She makes a mental note. Whatever he's walking into won't be simple. When Amy turns back to Riley, she asks a question that surprises the rider. Has your horse ever had trouble at night events? Riley hesitates, then admits the last time they competed under lights. The horse got spooked so badly that they both ended up on the ground. Riley never told the organizers, afraid they'd ban her from competing. Amy realizes this changes everything. The horse isn't acting out. It's reliving a moment that scared it deeply. With the rodeo getting ready to start, Amy knows she doesn't have much time. She guides Riley through a calming routine, helping her match her breathing to the horse's. Slowly, the animal's trembling eases. Not fully, but enough for Amy to see a thin line of trust forming. The lights overhead hum louder as they flicker to full brightness, washing the arena in a silver glow. The night event is beginning whether they're ready or not, just when Amy thinks she has a plan. A sharp whistle from the announcer calls for all riders to get in position. Riley looks to Amy for direction, caught between fear and a lifelong dream. And Amy must make a tough choice fast. Push Riley forward and risk the horse losing control under pressure, or hold her back and crush her chance to compete in the biggest event of her life. The lights shine brighter. The crowd roars, and Amy realizes this decision might shape more than one future tonight. The moment the announcer calls riders to the arena, the noise shifts from scattered chatter to a deep rolling wave of excitement. But Amy blocks it out. Her focus stays locked on Riley and the trembling horse beside her. The lights above flash and settle, and for a second, Amy sees the horse shrink back, not from the sound, but from the brightness itself. It's like the past is replaying in its eyes. The present is too painful to face. Riley tries to tighten her reins, but her hands shake so badly that she fumbles. Amy reaches out and steadies them. She knows Riley's fear is feeding the horse, doubling the tension between them like a rope pulled too tight. Amy gently tells her to breathe, not because it will magically fix everything, but because it's the only way to give both rider and horse even a small chance. But time isn't on their side. The gate crew is rushing riders into the lineup, shouting instructions, slamming metal bars into place. Dust swirls everywhere. People brush past without noticing the storm growing inside this one fragile team. Amy steps in front of the horse, blocking its view of the arena lights for just a moment. It gives the horse a small pocket of calm, like a shadow in a world that suddenly feels too bright. Then someone calls out her name, Tim. He storms toward her looking frustrated, overwhelmed. He asks why Riley isn't in the lineup, and Amy tries to explain the situation, but Tim barely hears the words. To him, the clock is louder than any problem she's describing. He insists that every competitor needs to move now, or the entire schedule will fall apart. The stress in his voice only pushes the horse closer to panic. Amy stands her ground. She tells Tim that forcing this horse into the arena could cause a serious accident. For a split second, Tim's eyes soften. He knows Amy doesn't exaggerate, but before he can decide, a loud clang echoes through the holding area. Rider drops a gate by accident, and the whole place erupts into startled movement. Horses jump, people shout, and Riley's horse bolts backward, pulling her off balance. Amy reacts instantly. She grabs the bridle, planting her feet into the dirt as the horse tries to rear. It's a dangerous moment. One wrong pull, and the horse could flip over. Riley freezes, terrified. The crowd roars in the background as the first event begins, but Amy doesn't let go. She digs deep, speaking calmly, firmly, guiding the horse back down with a steadiness that seems impossible compared to the chaos around them. Finally, the horse's front hooves touch the ground again. Its breathing slows, just enough for Amy to feel the tremble ease under her grip. Riley lets out a shaky breath, her eyes filling with tears, not from fear this time, but from the shock of almost losing everything before even entering the arena. Amy steps beside her and says quietly, "You can still ride tonight, but only if you're willing to trust yourself as much as you trust your horse." Riley hesitates, swallowed by doubt. But Amy sees the spark, the kind that shows up in people who aren't ready to quit. Inside the arena, a new round of cheers erupts. The lights flare brighter, and Amy knows the moment of decision is coming. Either Riley steps forward into the spotlight, or she walks away from a dream she has carried for years. While Amy works to calm Riley's horse in the holding area, Tim faces a different kind of storm at the rodeo grounds. The arena is glowing under the bright night lights, but behind the scenes, the pressure is almost crushing. Tim walks along the fences with that familiar mix of pride and frustration. Trying to hold everything together, even as things keep slipping through his fingers, he can feel eyes on him riders. Volunteers, organizers, even vendors, everyone, expecting him to solve every problem before it turns into chaos. And tonight, the problems are coming faster than he can catch them. A crew member rushes up to him out of breath saying one of the cattle gates isn't locking right. Another rider complains about the start times being pushed. Tim pushes forward with that stubborn determination he's known for. He tries to check the faulty gate himself, yanking on the metal bar until it slams shut. But the moment he turns away, the hinge rattles again. He knows it's unsafe. He knows it needs attention. But the rodeo has already started. He feels trapped between responsibility and the pressure to keep the show running. Then comes the breaking point. A seasoned bronc rider storms up to Tim, furious. He claims the chute wasn't properly prepared and that his horse nearly slipped as they loaded it. He accuses Tim of cutting corners to keep things moving. Tim fires back, defending his team. The argument grows sharp, their voices carrying across the near side of the arena. People stop what they're doing, glancing over, sensing something big is about to happen. The rider steps closer, lowering his voice but sharpening his words. He says that Tim is pushing too hard, that he's turning the rodeo into a risk instead of a celebration. It hits Tim harder than he shows. He's worked for years to build this event, to make it one of the best in the region. Hearing someone suggest he's putting people in danger stings in a way he can't easily hide. Before Tim can answer, the crowd lets out a shocked gasp. A bronc bursts out of the chute earlier than expected. The gate crew wasn't ready. The rider inside the arena struggles to stay on, caught off guard. The horse bucks wildly, and for a moment, it looks like it might slam into the fence. Tim whirls around, frozen for a heartbeat as everyone watches the rider fight for control. The scene ends with a hard landing in the dirt, and the crowd falls into uneasy silence. That's it. The mistake everyone feared. The kind that can change the night to a reputation. Tim rushes toward the fallen rider, shouting for medical help. He kneels beside the young man who's shaken but conscious. Relief floods in, but guilt comes right with it. Tim knows this accident isn't just a random misstep. It's a warning. One he can't ignore anymore. As the medics take over, Tim steps back, looking around the arena. The lights feel harsher. The noise feels heavier. And for the first time tonight, he wonders if he pushed this rodeo too far, too fast, far above the arena. The lights shine down like judgment, and Tim realizes he has a decision to make before the night gets any worse, away from the noise of the arena. Lou stands near the concession tents, trying to juggle a dozen small problems of her own. She came to the rodeo hoping for a simple night to support the family, enjoy the show, and maybe grab a peaceful moment with her daughters. But nothing about this evening is simple. Not with the tension in the air. Not with the way everyone seems stretched thin, carrying worries they're too busy to say out loud. Lou watches the crowd with that sharp, caring gaze she's always had. She sees families laughing in the stands, couples leaning close to share popcorn, kids waving glow sticks like tiny lighthouses. It's beautiful, but she can't fully relax. She senses something is off tonight. It's a thread of unease running through the event that she can't quite name. Her phone buzzes another message from the office, a reminder of problems waiting for her beyond the rodeo grounds. For a moment, she considers replying, letting herself slip back into work mode. But then she spots Katie standing alone near the fence, staring into the arena with a look that's too serious for her age. Lou pockets her phone and walks toward her daughter. Katie doesn't look away when Lou comes beside her. She just asks quietly, "Is everything okay?" It's a simple question, but it holds more weight than Lou expected. Katie can feel the tension of the night just as much as the adults can. Lou kneels down next to her, choosing her words with care. She tells Katie that rodeos are loud and wild by nature, that sometimes things get messy, but the family always sticks together through it. As they talk, a sudden cheer explodes from the crowd. The noise makes Katie flinch, and Lou instinctively pulls her close. It's a small gesture, but it reveals how much Katie still depends on her mom, even when she acts grown up. Lou smooths her daughter's hair and tells her they'll watch the rest of the event together from a quieter spot. Later, they meet up with Jack near the grandstand entrance. Jack notices the heaviness in Lou's shoulders even before she speaks. When she tries to brush it off, he gives her that steady, knowing look that has always calmed the family. He reminds her that she doesn't have to carry every burden alone, not the problems at work, not the stress she sees in others tonight. Lou lets out a breath she didn't realize she was holding. For a moment, the dust, the lights, and the noise fade. It's just her, Jack, and Katie Three's generation standing together while the rodeo roars behind them, but then a voice blares. Over the loudspeaker announcing an unexpected pause in the event, the crowd murmurs. Lou glances toward the arena, worry rising again. Something has happened. Something that changes the rhythm of the night. Jack steps forward with that quiet sense of purpose he always has. Lou takes Katie's hand, her heartbeat quickening. She doesn't know what's going on yet, but one thing is clear. The rodeo isn't the only place where things are about to shift. Their family is being pulled toward the center of the unfolding drama, whether they want to be or not. While the arena crew scrambles to recover from the unexpected pause, Jack steps away from the crowd, moving to a quieter corner of the grounds. He's seen enough rodeos to know when the night is starting to wobble, and tonight, it's wobbling more than anyone wants to admit. The lights cast long shadows across the dirt, and those shadows seem to stretch out like reminders of every rodeo he's lived through every fall. Every close call, every heavy moment, he spots Amy in the distance. Still working with Riley and the anxious horse, he sees the tension in her posture, even from across the grounds. She's trying to be strong for everyone else, but Jack can tell she's carrying too much on her shoulders. That's the thing about Amy Shea, always steps up. Even when the ground beneath her is shaking, Jack walks over, calm as ever, boots crunching quietly in the dirt. When Amy turns and sees him, she doesn't need to explain anything. He already knows. The worried horse, the panicked rider. The pressure from the event, he reads it all in the look she gives him, without raising his voice. Jack asks her one simple question. What do you think the horse needs? It sounds ordinary, but the way he says it changes everything. It reminds Amy that her instincts matter, that even in all this chaos, she's the one who sees the truth in an animal's eyes better than anyone. Amy takes a breath, grounding herself. She tells Jack she thinks the horse is remembering a fall from a past night event. The lights, the noise, it's all bringing that fear back. Jack nods slowly, like he's fitting the missing piece into the puzzle. He tells her gently that fear doesn't just live in horses, it lives in people too. And sometimes the crowd, the lights, and the pressure make those fears louder. The words hit deeper than Amy expected. For a moment, she isn't the calm trainer everyone depends on. She's just Amy, someone trying to hold everything together. Jack rests a steady hand on her shoulder. You can't carry all of this alone, he says. His voice is rough from age and wisdom, but warm enough to soften the edge of any fear. He reminds her that even the best trainers need support. Even the strongest people need space to breathe. Riley steps closer, watching them, both eyes still shiny with fear. Jack offers her a gentle smile and tells her something she'll remember long after this. Rodeo ends. Courage doesn't mean you're not scared. It just means you show up anyway. Those words settle into the air like dust falling after a storm, quiet, steady grounding. As Jack walks away, Amy feels a shift inside her. A calm she didn't realize she needed. The chaos around her is still loud, still wild, still unpredictable. But now she feels centered again. Anchored by the wisdom Jack leaves behind, the arena lights flicker brighter as the announcer returns to the mic, preparing to restart the competition. The tension is still heavy. But Amy is no longer overwhelmed, because Jack's words remind her of something she almost forgot. Even under the brightest lights, you're never standing there alone. The announcer's voice booms through the arena, louder and steadier than before, pulling everyone back to attention. The crowd shifts in their seats, eager for the competition to continue. The lights sharpen, pouring down like a spotlight on every rider waiting inside the gates. This is the moment everyone came forth, the high-energy heart of the night. And it arrives with a pressure that feels almost physical. Riley sits on her horse at the entrance, breathing hard but steady. Amy stands beside her, one hand on the horse's neck, grounding them both with quiet strength. The animal is still tense, still unsure, but the wild fear from earlier has softened into something manageable. Amy whispers one last piece of advice, and Riley nods, gathering whatever courage she has left. Then the gate swings open. The horse charges forward, powerful and fast, dirt flying beneath its hooves. The crowd rises as one, their shouts echoing across the arena. For the first few seconds, everything moves in perfect sync. Riley leans into each turn, the horse responding with sharp, clean movement. The lights shine down, but this time the horse isn't running from them. It's running through them. But just as they approach the final barrel, a burst of noise from the stanza dropped drink tray. A scream of surprise. Something sudden startles the horse. Its ears flick back, muscles tightening. Riley feels it happen, a shift so quick it could break the moment in half. For a breath, it looks like the panic might take over. Amy watches from the sidelines. Frozen Riley steadies her reins, whispers the horse's name, and leans forward with absolute trust. The horse hesitates, legs trembling, then pushes through the fear, rounding the final barrel in a wide but determined arc. The crowd explodes with cheers. They race toward the finish line, not perfect, not flawless, but brave. When they cross, Riley bursts into tears, leaning forward to hug the horse's neck. She didn't win the event, but she won something far more important. She proved she could face the very fear that almost ended her career. Amy smiles, relief washing over her. It's the kind of moment she works forth, the moment when a rider and a horse grow stronger together, even if nobody else sees the full story behind it. Meanwhile, Tim stands near the medics and crew, watching Riley's ride with a heavy heart. The earlier accident still weighs on him, but seeing Riley finish reminds him why he fought so hard to build this rodeo. He knows he has to make changes, safer gates, better planning, more hands on deck, but for the first time tonight, he sees hope instead of pressure. Lou and Katie watch from the stands, holding each other close. Jack silently joins them, placing a comforting arm around Lou's shoulders. They don't say anything, but the way they lean into one another says enough. The family is stronger tonight than it was at the start. As the arena lights dim slightly for the closing ceremony, the noise settles into a warm, buzzing hum. Riders gather, horses cool down, families celebrate. The chaos of earlier feels distant now, replaced by a quiet glow of pride and relief. And just before the episode ends, the camera pulls away from the arena and lands on Amy. She stands alone for a moment, thinking about everything that happened: Riley's bravery, the horses' progress, the pressure of the night, and the choices waiting for her tomorrow. She looks toward the lights one last time. There's something coming, something big. But for now, under the fading glow of the rodeo arena, Amy finally lets herself breathe.